Wow, that
I know.
Man, that really made a difference.
Maybe it did. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome back to House Parties. We are so glad you are here this week. Stetson, aren't we glad they're here
this one is brought to you by my pasty white legs because it's warm enough for shorts now.
It is warm enough for sure. I am currently roasting in these. And so I am happy. It feels so good outside. Yeah, it's incredible. Go outside, have some fun. Bugs will be out soon, and then it won't be as fun.
Yeah.
And so that's my recommendation. Announcements?
Yeah. We have less spots for the missions trip than we did at student night.
We have
17 spots
17
left.
spots.
So make sure. Yeah, go ahead.
You might only have 17 people in the room with you.
That's true.
That's how many spots are left.
Yeah. So if you want to come, we would recommend signing up sooner than later. Start bugging your parents. If your parents are hesitant, we're really good at talking to parents. So
yeah, seriously, if your parents are like, I don't know, let them know that we, like Stetson said, we love to talk with them.
Yeah.
Hopefully ease any concerns they have. At least do our best to try.
Or just let us know. We'll cold call them.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Hello.
We'll do that.
My name is Landry. Let your kid go on the mission trip.
Yep. Just like that.
Just like
it'll
that.
work. Guaranteed. No weirdness about that at all.
Not weird at all. Seriously though, if you guys have any questions, ask any of your leaders. And leaders, send them to us if you have any tough questions.
Yeah.
Cool. Another announcement is that April 25th, which may be very soon by the time this video is airing, is the last time to sign up for baptism weekend at Big Church.
Sweet.
If you've been on the fence about getting baptized and really want to talk to your leaders, see if that's something that is for you. Most of the time the answer will be yes, that's incredible. But let them talk with you through that, and then let us know so that we can quickly get you signed up for baptism weekend. It's an incredible opportunity to share your faith with the entire congregation. Yeah. Cool. I think I got one more. We mentioned at student night, now I'll mention again for those of you who weren't there.
Oh, yeah.
CC Kids is having their summer camp this summer. It's going to go on for a few weeks. I forget the weeks exactly, between 6 and 8 weeks, I think. I will make sure on that.
I think it was around 4 weeks.
Yeah, I think this time is going to be, I think last year was a little longer.
Yep.
So about 4 weeks. It's going to be in the mornings on Wednesdays, I believe. And they asked you guys if you would be willing to be a leader there. And what a leader means is you're going to lead conversations for these elementary schoolers. You're going to help keep an eye on them and stuff. And most of all, you're going to get to hang out with the other leaders and hang out with me, and maybe Stetson will stop by as well. But it'll mostly be me there. So we'll have a good time hanging out with each other. You'll get a chance to really hone some leadership skills if that's what you've been interested in. So if you're interested in that, go talk to one of your leaders, and hopefully they will send you my direction, either your information or whatever, and we can get you plugged in there.
To these kids, you guys are like superheroes.
You're like rock stars.
They would never dream that people your age would want to spend time with them. So last year I watched it happen, and they loved those of you who did this, and it would happen again this year.
And the leaders of the CC Kids Ministry talk a lot about what you guys did last year, and
they think you're incredible.
They think you're awesome, and some of you guys who did it last year have already volunteered to do it again. So thank you to you guys. Anyone else that's interested, let us know pretty quickly if you don't mind. I think that's it for announcements. We got a game for you guys today.
Yes. Yeah, this one is also AI generated.
It's a little different.
Yep. It's not going to be a skit.
No, it's not going to be a skit. We're actually not super sure what it is, but we've been told that there are consequences.
Yeah, we have to eat something really gross.
Oh, man. If we lose. All right, Steven?
CC Students News Network is a game played by two players, Landry and Stetson, who pretend to be news anchors reading ridiculous news stories off a teleprompter. The game objective is to keep a straight face and not smile or laugh while reading the stories. At the beginning of the game, both players start with 0 points. For each smile or laugh, they lose 1 point. The person who smiles or laughs the most loses the game, and the consequence is to drink a concoction created by Steven.
Good evening and welcome to CC Students News Network. I'm your anchor, Fizzy Fizzlepop, and tonight we have some truly absurd stories to share with you. Our first story comes from the town of Blunderbuss, where a local chef has created a dish that's creating the culinary world by storm. Higgledy-piggledy, can you tell us more about this particular delicacy?
Hi, Fizzy Fizzlepop. I'm here with the chef himself, Chef Clumsyfoot, and let me tell you, this dish is simply a bowl. It's concoction made of canned caviar, calamari, and cottage cheese, smothered in creamy custard made of cauliflower and caramel. Flavors are positively explosive with barrage of box burps and bloopers and bust in your mouth. The dish is sure to make you go gaga.
Très bien, that sounds both tantalizing and terrifying.
Our next story comes from the town of Flibbergibbet, where the group of farmers have created a kind of vegetable that is unlike anything you've ever seen. These vegetables are shaped like stars, but they're made of jello. That's right, jello veggies. And the flavors are simply scrumptious, with a medley of melons, mangoes, and maple syrup to melt in your mouth like magic.
Jolly good! I'm already salivating. Our final story comes from the town of Zanyville, where a group of inventors has created a new kind of transportation that's taking the world by storm. It's called the Wackadoodle Wagon, and it's a contraption made of springs, straws, and spaghetti that bounces and jiggles like a giant jello mold. The ride is wild and wacky with twists, turns, tickles that will leave you giggling for days.
Hey, that sounds like a roller coaster ride on steroids.
Well, I reckon that's all the news we got for y'all today, but don't fret, we'll be back for more absurdity and shenanigans next time. Until then, y'all take care, keep it weird.
Okay, so I'm like 90% positive that I lost.
Yeah.
But I don't know. How bad can it be, the punishment?
We've moved outside so that if Landry does hurl, he has a drain right below him that he can hurl into. Landry, kind of hold it up to the light so we can see. Oh, maybe the other way. Let's see. Yeah, you can kind of see how full it is. It's about half full. We've got some. It's I had to dilute it halfway with water so that the some thick type parts would dissolve a little bit better.
Oh, good. All right.
Go for it.
I poured the rest out. It was just sprinkled. Back to you guys.
I was disappointed in your Texan accent.
I know. Well, I had to.
Like, it was Australian.
Well, Scottish and Texan kind of is Australian, but like I had to unglue from Scottish and switch it. I don't know if you noticed, but by the end it sounded more Texan.
Yeah.
I just was in a Scottish mood. A very poor Scottish. So I'm great.
You were a sad Scottish person.
I know.
When the Scots feel sad, they sound Australian.
Yeah. I am terrible at accents. I'm decent at impressions. I'm terrible at accents. Ugh. But it'll be fun. All right. So today we are getting into our second week of our series, To Be Seen, To Be Known, To Be Loved. Last week we talked a little bit about what it means to see and be seen, and how God sees us, which, to summarize, I like to put it this way, is that to see someone is to look at somebody, a person, and to go, oh, I am going to treat you like a human because you are. Because sometimes I think that when we interact with people, we just think of them as like constructs that we pass on the street, that we pass at school.
Yeah, like side characters in our story.
Right, but to see somebody is to know that they are a person with a past, with likes and dislikes, with hobbies that they enjoy, with, you know, all that kind of stuff. So
For sure.
we're transitioning into this idea to be known. And so what's kind of cool is about to be seen, to be known, to be loved, which to be loved is going to be our next video. It kind of narrows in, but the intensity gets bigger as you go deeper. So to be seen is a very, very specific thing, but intimacy-wise, it's very broad. You're not super intimate, but it is better than just passing somebody on the street to see them. But then to know somebody is a little more intimate.
Yeah, for sure.
And so last week I talked a little... So the best way to explain being known is instead of saying, oh, I understand that you are a human.
Yep.
To know somebody and to be known as, oh, I understand you as a friend. Mm-hmm. We're trying to be a friend. And so I actually have an interesting point about a community of people who understand what it is to know and be known. And so there's actually this community in Italy that has a huge number of people who live to be over 100 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. And so people kind of wanted to know why. Was it the food they ate? No, I mean, the food that they eat is fresh, but it's not like significantly fresher than some other areas of the world where people don't live to that age.
Day old spaghetti.
Day old spaghetti. I just saw you do it, and I went with it too. And so they actually list some stuff. It's a very interesting article, but 2 of the 5 biggest things, and they're also the 2 biggest thing of the 5 things listed on why do these people live to be 100, is that they are well immersed in their family and well immersed in their friends, in their community. And it goes into a bit of detail, but the gist is that their family and their friends take time spending time with each other and not just playing games, although playing games together is a great way to get to know people, or just, watching movies. Watching movies is a fun thing to do with people, but it's not just that. They sit down, they eat together, they talk together, they do the thing that you probably have only ever done while you're camping, if you go camping, which you just sit around a fire, or in their case, maybe food, or outside by the beach if they live there, and just talk and get to know each other.
They make spaghetti for the next day.
They make spaghetti for the next day.
Yeah.
Together. And so I thought that was really cool because we don't always do that.
Yeah.
And so there's this idea that like, oh, I gotta go talk to my grandma. She's kind of awkward and I don't know how to talk to her. Or, oh, that kid over there, like, I don't know. My mom said I should make friends and I don't know that I want to talk to them. Or if you're interested in somebody and you're like, hey, this person's really cool. I just want to talk to them and get to know them. But then it's like, I don't know how. It's kind of weird. Yeah. Stuff like that. But then you have this community of people in Italy who, one of the biggest reasons they live so long is because they are known.
Yep.
And knowing others.
Yep.
So what that means is that knowing and being known, which means to understand somebody's likes, dislikes, to engage with those. Hey, I know you like dark chocolate instead of regular chocolate, so I just happen to get this piece of chocolate for you that's dark, and I know you like it. Like, just little things. Knowing what someone values can go a long way to help your health, both emotionally and physically. What do you think?
Yeah, no, a few things run through my head. One is I was remembering something I was reading a while ago about people talking about their experiences if, like, they're in prison and they get placed in solitary confinement. If you don't know what that is, you're just in a room by yourself, no human contact. Their body literally begins to shut down.
Really?
So it's kind of the opposite of this community in Italy. It's like they're so close together, their life is extended. In solitary confinement, there's so little community, your life is shortened. Like their organs like literally start to fail like in these small ways, and like if left too long, like it's catastrophic. So it's like there is something hardwired into who we are that needs community, like we need food and water and air, and if we don't have that, it's super detrimental. It made me also think of a story where you might not know this. I don't like cheese on my burgers. I know that's kind of controversial.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't want to hear it from you. You don't like grapes, so that's just odd.
I love cheese on my burgers, but I understand.
Yeah. So for me, it's just like all I taste is cheese, and I would rather.
That's
taste
what I've
everything
heard.
else.
I have other friends that say the same thing.
Yeah. One year for my birthday, I was 20-something. Let's say it was 24. For my birthday, someone bought me 24 cheeseburgers. And it was just like, you don't even know me. Like, if you knew me, you would know this is the last thing that I want for my birthday. And I didn't say that because it was kind of this person to buy me 24 cheeseburgers. But kind of like you were saying, this distinguishing, it's like, okay, they're seen. It's like you value them as a person, but then known, it's like you value them enough to like get to know them in their story.
Right. Absolutely. So, I mean, I don't know what scenario 24 cheeseburgers would be kind, because I'd be like, I either have to eat all of these or throw some away.
It was in a group setting. There was a bunch of people around, which is nice because they gave away all of them and didn't eat any.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's like what you're saying is to be known would have been like, wow, they knew that I don't like cheese, and now they bought me 24 hamburgers. Yeah. There's actually a story that I have. It's a very small story. But I love my best friend for it. I was going through a really hard time with my family, just a tough situation, and my best friend, who is not spontaneous, it's okay, he doesn't need to be, that's just not his personality type, but I am. And so one day he shows up at my house during this season of my life, and he goes, hey man, get in the car. And I was like, oh, okay. He happened to know I wasn't doing anything. I think he texted me like 20 minutes before he got there and said, hey, what are you doing? I was like, nothing, just hanging out the rest of the evening. He goes, okay. Picks me up, and he takes me to the movies, and we watch, I don't remember, I think it was the third Star Trek movie with Chris Pine. It was okay. But the whole thing is my best friend knows how much I love going to the movies. It's one of my favorite things to do. And how much I love movie theater popcorn. He bought me a whole tub. And he looks over to me and he goes, hey man, I just want you to know that I love you and I'm here for you.
Nice.
And I was just like, oh my gosh, just to be known and taken care of in such a way was just such an epic thing for him to do. I still think about it to this day.
Yeah, I bet.
Which I'll get back to the importance of being a good knower of friends. And so, but I did want to talk about some of the ways that God values knowing and being known in just some verses. And so the first verse is John, the book of John. John spent a lot of time with this figure known as Jesus that we talk a lot about. And he records Jesus saying that, I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me. Why would that matter unless it was important to Jesus to know and be known? There's no reason to say that. The cool thing about Jesus is that at this point, he is heading towards dying on the cross, which he did as an act of love for you and for me, so that we could be forgiven by God. He would stand in the gap between us and God, and so that we could have a relationship with God, with Jesus, through something called the Holy Spirit, which Jesus gives later. And so for Jesus to say, I know my sheep and my sheep know me, is the equivalent of, it is actually God, the creator who created you, saying, I know you, and I will take care of you, and you will know it's me. Which is really cool for us Christ followers, that we can see Jesus working in these subtle ways throughout our lives. Man, that's like I'll read a couple more, but that one's like the biggest one.
That's a really good one.
The next one is written by a guy named Paul, and he's writing it about Jesus. Paul actually had this crazy encounter with Jesus that actually changed his life. And he says to a church that he's writing to in Galatians chapter 6, verse 2, carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. Now, there's a lot of ways to interpret the law of Christ, but I think about, and I say it all the time, those of you guys who have been in this youth group for any amount of months now and know that I say this verse all the time. It's the verse out of John. Love others as I have loved you. That's
Right.
what I think of when I think of the law of Christ.
Yep, me too.
And so God places this great importance on knowing and being known. But here's the thing about knowing and being known. Remember when we said it starts to get a little more intense?
Yeah.
When you know and you're also being known, the little things that you don't always love about yourself, and sometimes the little things that you don't always love about others kind of start creeping up a little bit. You start to learn about people, and people start to learn about you. And that, understandably, can be a bit intimidating,
Yeah,
right?
that's really true.
I believe that that's why most people have a hard time knowing people. It's easy to say hey to somebody in the hallway and be done. Sometimes that's even hard for some people. But to go up to a new person, or even sometimes a person who's not new but you've begun to get to know and start to be known, is a bit scary, because what if they see that I can say some stupid stuff sometimes? Or what if they don't, what if they start to get to know me and they don't like the way I dress or the way I talk or any one of those things? That's like totally understandable. But
Yeah.
the cool thing is that Jesus says, my sheep know me and I know them. And Jesus knows everything about you. And he's like, this person, you, is awesome. It's my sheep. I think that's super cool. Me as an adult, this isn't a youth thing. This is like an everybody thing. Me as an adult finds great peace and comfort in knowing that Jesus sees all of me and goes, yes, I'm still pleased with you. You are still mine. And yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Known is definitely another level than seen. And it takes time. And it takes consistency, like showing up on a regular basis. And it takes, I didn't even think about the aspect that you just talked about. It's like, yeah, it's like you spend enough time with a person, they're probably going to rub you the wrong way. Like, I don't know if any of you like share a room with any of your siblings, or just have siblings in general. It's because you see each other every day and you start to like see the worst parts of each other. But man, the value of that knowing is huge.
What's kind of interesting too is like, I don't know if this has anything to do with anything, but eventually you start to separate from your siblings as you get older, and you start to grow closer to them. And I think it's because when you're so close, you're knowing somebody so deeply at a certain age where you're still figuring things out, you're still growing, and so you clash a lot. But once you've grown a little bit, you've matured a little bit, and you have a little bit of space, but you still have that depth. I found that me and all my sisters are much closer now.
Yeah.
Than we were when we were growing up. Because growing up, we hated each other. We played pranks on each other. They threw stuff at me. Yeah, and we pinned each other down and drew makeup on each other's face. I lived in a house with 4 girls, and so that's how they pranked each other.
Yeah.
So if you have siblings that you fight with, it's part of the process of knowing and being known, and in a lot of ways being loved, which again we'll talk about next week. But just know that it gets better. It really does, and to appreciate the time you have with your siblings now, if you can.
Yeah.
I have a couple of tips
Great.
that I came up with on, okay, Landry, I've seen somebody. I know that they're human. I don't know how to know them. I don't know if I want to because I don't know how.
Yep.
I have just a couple of tips that I came up with by reading a couple articles. They all kind of said the same thing. And so the first step I would say is to see them. That's what we started with. Okay, they're not just a construct walking by me.
Yep.
They are human.
Yep.
Step 2, make some small talk. Talk about the weather. This comes after seeing them, though. If they have a video game themed backpack and you play the same video game, start with that.
Yep.
If they have a certain pair of shoes and you're like, man, those shoes are so cool. I have shoes that I also love that are the same brand or whatever. Talk to them about that. Like, you appreciate the way they're styled. I don't know, like anything that could make small talk. That's step number 2. Number 3, really dive into their stuff. Don't do this too early, because if you walk up to somebody right away, especially at y'all's age, and goes, how's your family? And you don't know this person very well yet, it's a legit question. It's great that you care about their family or stuff like that. Start with the small talk and then work up to their stuff. Talk to them about what's going on with them. Connect on some of those common interests that you look at step 1. So see them, small talk, ask them about their stuff.
Yep.
Third is then share some of your stuff. The important thing in this step is try and share stuff that can help connect with all the stuff you just did.
Oh, yeah.
And be sure, I have this problem, so if you're like this too, that's okay. It can get better. Sometimes you talk too much about your stuff. That's what I do sometimes. And so just remember to bring it back to them. And so see them, small talk, ask them about their stuff, share about your stuff, and then make a plan to talk again. You know, exchange each other's phone numbers or social media or whatever, whatever ways that are okay for you to connect with other people, like social media or ask to hang out again or whatever is fine with you, like connect.
Yep.
The reason why this is a step is because some people don't take this step. And this is kind of the most awkward step because then you're committing to seeing them again.
Yep.
But I found that a ton of times when I commit to see someone again, even when it was just like, hey, see you at this place tomorrow in the hall if you guys have the same school schedule every day. Or if it's block schedule, see you next time we're doing this block or whatever.
Yep.
You're like actively showing them that you're interested in knowing them and seeing them. And that feels really good when it's coming from a genuine, just wanting to get to know and talk to people. So if you wanted some steps on how to begin to get to know people, that was it. See them, small talk, ask them about their stuff, share about your stuff, and make plans to see them again.
Yeah.
Does that sound like a pretty good place to start?
It does. I'll acknowledge, though, in practice, that can be really hard.
Yeah.
Like, it requires the other person, like, even wanting something like that. But what I get excited about is the best context I could possibly imagine for anyone in your season of life getting to know others and being known by others is the room that you're sitting in right now.
Absolutely. Yeah,
like,
that's good.
Where you are at is a gift. The group of people that you are with is a gift. I can't think of a better and easier opportunity to have a group of people that you open yourself up to, and all of a sudden these people, they know what's going on in your life. They're praying for you. They're checking up on you. If you feel like that you're trying and it's not really working and you're having a hard time with it, talk to your leader just off to the side, so that it's not like embarrassing for you or like feels awkward, and just let them know. It's like, hey, like I'm trying, I'm not really feeling like I'm able to connect. Can you help me out? And they will. Like, they'll figure out a way that isn't like weird or embarrassing. Like the next week is like, hey, so Rachel said,
yeah, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah, let's all learn about Rachel. Like,
Yeah,
it'll
no.
be something much more low key than that. But like we talked about in the beginning, this is a need. This is not a luxury.
Yeah.
Like, this is something that we've been hardwired to need. And I'm so glad that just by the fact that you're in a room with other people watching this video, I know that you have this thing that you need. You just got to open yourself up to it.
Totally. I think that's a great place to end for today.
Cool.
All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us during this time. We will see you in the next video.